last class? Rules. It's ruled up. You have spelled it wrong, I think it's okay. So we were speaking about rules. Thank you, thank you. Do you remember how many rules we have reached? Anurag? Okay, very good, very good. 6. Okay, Siddharth. So we have to study the remaining rules today. I'll present my screen. Hope you could understand what I am saying, the rules and all. Just go through these rules. If you had studied something more in your school days, just go through those notes also so that you can improve your language. And here we are just giving an orientation, just giving the basic idea. So if you work more, then you will be able to improve a lot. Okay. Can you see the screen? Okay, very good. Okay, thank you. So we were speaking about sixth rule yesterday. The total, how many rules are there? How many rules are there total? How many rules did I say we have to go through? No, we have reached the sixth rule, Ashwin, but total, how many rules we have to study now? 10. Okay, Akshara, very good. 10. Siddharth. Okay. Now, sixth rule, just let us just go through what the sixth rule was. And what are these rules about? In what context are we speaking about these rules? What is the main heading of what was the main context in which we are applying these rules? Where are we going to apply these rules? Okay, very good. Subject verb agreement. Very good. We were speaking about subject verb agreement, and what is that agreement? Normally, what does that agreement mean? Can you say it in a sentence? What is that agreement between subject and verb? What is that rule? And I think that was the first rule which we studied. What does that agreement say? Anyone, you can type in your chat box. What is that subject verb agreement says? Or what does that rule state? What does that rule state? What should agree in number? What should agree in number? What are the things that should agree in number? Yes, very good. Subject and verb. Subject and verb should agree in number, which means if the subject is singular, the verb should be singular. Singular means one, isn't it? And plural means many. So that's what we said they should agree in number, one and many. That indicates the number of items or number of things taking part. So singular is one and plural means many. So if the subject is singular, the verb also should be singular. If the subject is plural, then the verb also should be plural. And I just gave you a tip, yes, a clue yesterday to identify whether a verb is singular or plural. If the particular verb ends with s or es, it is singular. Normally, if we write s or es, it is plural for subjects. Like pen is a subject, then pens, it is plural. Or we have pencil is a subject, then pencils is a plural. Because when s and es comes for a subject, it becomes plural. But for a verb, when s and es comes, it is singular. And if the verb does not end with s and es, then it is plural. So just look at the small clues and just answer. You will be able to answer the fill in the blanks questions and all. Okay. Is it clear? Is it clear to you? Hello, is it clear to you? Okay. So now we'll go on to the last rule that we were discussing was there and here. These are the two words which we use most often. They are never subjects. Should not consider them as subjects. Usually when we consider the first word as the subject, first two words as the subject. But if the sentence begins with there or if it begins with here, they are not subjects. In sentences that begin with these words, here and there, the subject will be found later in the sentence. That is, you have to read the remaining sentence and find out what the sentence is speaking about. Like, there were 5 books on the shelf. So, you cannot take this there and say that it is the subject and the remaining is the predicate. Hope you will, usually in schools, we take the first 2 words as the subject and the remaining as the predicate. Students will easily do that way. But here, if it begins with there and here, then they cannot be considered as subject. So you have to find for subject in the remaining sentence, remaining part of the sentence, and look at what the sentence is speaking about. Here in this sentence, it is speaking about the books. So if those sentence in those sentence that begins with here and there, the subject is on the remaining part of the sentence, and look for the subject and then find out the verb, and you should look whether they agree with each other's. Now, this books, is it singular or plural? Books is singular or plural? No, you respond quickly, okay, otherwise I won't be able to finish. Books is singular or plural? Hello? Anyone? Plural. Very good, Niharika. Book is singular and books is plural. Okay. So, here, since the subject is plural, the verb should also be plural. So, if it was singular, if it was book, then you would have written here was. Since it is plural, you have to write the plural verb, that is where. Okay, was and where. Was is singular, where is plural. Okay, if it was book here, then it was. If it was, since it is written as books, the verb should be plural, and plural is where, was and where. Was is singular, where is plural. Is it clear? So just study those singular and plural verbs. Is and are, was and were, has and have, etc. Has is singular, has is used with singular subjects, have is used with plural subjects. So those few, there are a few which are confusing, just study those. Because we use it in our daily life when we speak in English. Is it clear? Is it clear to you? Hello? Okay. So now we are going to the 7th rule. Listen carefully to the 7th rule. The collective nouns. What are collective nouns? What are collective nouns? Collective nouns imply more than one person. You have studied it in school from small KG, small class itself. Collective nouns imply more than one person, but they are considered as singular. Even though it is a group of people or a group of things, we consider it as singular. Collective nouns, they are considered as singular, and so since they are considered as singular, they take a singular verb. Always singular subjects take singular verb. So though it is a collective noun and it represents more than one object, it is considered as a singular subject. Collective nouns are considered as singular, and hence they take singular verbs. And examples of such collective nouns include group, a group of people, then team, a team of members, then committee members, committee, then class, the student's class, then a family, etc. When we consider these terms, they represent group of people, but even though they are a group of people, they are considered as singular. So collective nouns are considered as singular, and so they take a singular verb only. For example, so there are exceptions. In most of the rules in grammar, there will be exceptions also. So consider this example, the team runs during practice. So here the Verb is runs, you know, verb is runs. And here the subject is the team. Team is the subject. We are speaking about the team. So that is the subject. So when we consider a team, is it singular or plural? What did I say right now? Collective nouns are singular or plural? Can you consider collective nouns? Are they considered to be singular or plural? Though it is a collection of things or people, can we take it as plural? Hello? Can I take it as plural, collective nouns? Anyone? Are you not listening to me? No, you cannot take it as plural. So it should be collective nouns are considered to be singular. Okay, so since team is singular, then what must be verb? Verb should also be singular. So, as I said, verbs that end with S or ES are singular. So, runs is singular, run is plural. Okay, runs is singular since it is ending with S. It is the verb that ends with S or ES. It is just for clue I'm saying this. I haven't seen that rule anywhere, but you have to just remember this point that we are finding S or ES in a verb, it is singular, and without S or ES, it is plural. So if you asked to fill the sentence like this, if the team dash during practice, is it run or runs? Then you have to find out. How will you find out that? The team, I will put a dash there to fill in the blanks. The team dash during practice, and I give you two options, run and runs. Then which one will you choose? How will you find out whether to choose run or runs? You have to look at the subject. And if the since here in this sentence, the subject is a collective noun and collective nouns are considered singular, so you have to fill in with a singular verb. So run is plural, singular, and run is plural and runs is singular. So since team is singular, you have to choose runs as the answer. So the team runs during practice. So as I said, there are exceptions to the rules also. So there are some collective nouns which may be singular or plural. There are certain collective nouns which are considered as either singular or plural, and depends on the context in which it is used, depends on the sentence in which it is used. So let us consider a collective noun called orchestra. Orchestra means a group of people with different instruments playing to a music. So orchestra, can you hear me? Okay. Okay, so let us consider this collective noun orchestra. It is an exception because it can be either singular or plural, and it depends on the sentence or the context in which it is used. So this orchestra is a group of people, as I said earlier, they are playing different instruments together and to a particular music, and we call them together as the orchestra. So the orchestra is playing a hit song. The orchestra is playing a hit song. And here the supporting verb is playing, is the supporting verb. So here the orchestra is singular. So here in this sentence, the orchestra is considered as a singular subject. So the collective noun is singular since is used. Now then see the next sentence. The orchestra were asked to give their musical background. So where is plural? Was is singular and where is plural? So here again the orchestra is a collective noun, but here we have used plural verb. Was is singular and where is plural. So the orchestra were asked to give their musical background. So in this sentence, the orchestra is considered as plural, whereas in this sentence, the orchestra is considered as singular. So there are certain collective nouns which can be either singular or can be either plural. But most of these are exceptions, but most of the cases you should study these words. If you find all these words, then it takes singular verb. But the exception should also come to your mind. They can be both singular or plural, but you have to read the sentence. Now, Next, we are going to rule 8. So that was about collective nouns. Next, we are going to rule 8. So now, when we read certain nouns, they seem to be plural in form. Looking at the noun, we find that they are plural, but actually they are singular in meaning. Though they seem to be plural, but they are actually singular. Now you'll understand it with the example, that is mathematics. It is ending with S. Civics, again ending with S. Dollars, etc. Measles. Okay, it's not clear here. It is measles, news, etc. So these words, since they are ending with S, we may think that it is plural. So some nouns, they seem to be plural, but actually these are singular in meaning. Mathematics is the name of a single subject. Civics, same way, it is a subject, a single subject. So they seem to be, since they are ending with S, they seem to be plural, but they are singular in meaning. So if you find mathematics, civics, etc., so the subject is singular, so you have to take singular verbs. For example, mathematics is not an easy subject. You cannot put here as mathematics are. R is plural, is singular. So mathematics is not an easy subject for some people. So is singular, so you have to put is there. Also, another example is about dollars. Dollars also seem to be plural, but it is singular. In certain, it is dollars is an exception that will come to the later part. That is $5 is a lot of money. So in this sentence is singular. So this, although dollars seem to be more amount of money, it is considered as singular. So $5 is a lot of money is singular, and these dollars, they have an exception. That is what I've written here as note. The word dollars is a special case. Okay, the word dollars is a special case. If we are speaking about an amount of money, here I'm saying $5. If I'm considering an amount of money with the dollars, in terms of dollars, then we can consider this dollars word as singular. Okay, if I'm considering an amount of money, then the dollars, this particular dollars word is singular, and so you have to use a singular verb. If I'm speaking of dollars in general, 1 minute. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Okay. So did you understand what I said about dollars? Dollars is a special case. When we hear the term dollars, since it ends with S, we think that it is plural. But actually, the meaning differs. That is what is written here. If we are speaking about an amount of money, say I'm speaking about amount, and then I'm giving dollars, that is $5, then that, if you're speaking about an amount, then it is dollars is singular. See, the word dollars is a special case. When talking about an amount of money, it requires singular verb. When we are speaking about an amount of money, then it is a singular verb. But when referring to the dollars themselves, I'm just speaking about dollars, I'm describing the dollars, then the verb should be plural. So that is an exception. If I am specifying an amount of money in dollars, then in that particular sentence, the word should be singular. If I'm not speaking about the amount of money, but I'm speaking about dollars in general, I'm speaking about that particular dollars alone, then not specifying any amount of money, then that particular verb in that sentence should be plural. And there is an example here. Dollars are often used instead of rubles in Russia. Now, these are the currencies used in Russia. So, dollars are often used instead of rubles in Russia. In this sentence, we haven't specified any amount of money. We are just speaking about the dollars. So, these dollars, we cannot, in this, if I give you a blank here, dollars dash often used instead of rubles in Russia, and I tell you, I am giving you an option, is or are. Will you fill it with is or are? So, is is singular. So, here we haven't specified any amount of money. If I had specified any amount of money, $5 or $10, etc., then I have to use is. Since nothing is mentioned regarding the amount of money in dollars, I have to use plural verb, and are is the plural verb. Is the singular, opposite are, it is plural. So dollars are often used. So in this sentence, dollars is plural since no amount is money specified. So you use plural verbs. But in this sentence, amount of money is specified. So you use singular verb. So here dollars, along with dollars, we have to use singular verb. So dollars when appears as a subject, it can be either singular or it can be plural. It is singular when amount of money is specified, and it is plural when no amount of money is specified, but it refers to dollars themselves. So in that case, it is plural. Did you understand what I said? Can you understand what I'm saying? Hello? Is it okay for you? Okay, hope you're getting some idea about what I'm saying. So that was the eighth rule about certain words which we mistake as plural, that is mathematics, civics, dollars, etc. Now next, the ninth rule. Doesn't. We often see the word doesn't. It is a contradiction of does not. Okay. And should be used only with a singular subject. So whenever you see this doesn't, the subject should be singular. And don't is a contradiction of do not. And it should be used with a plural subject. So doesn't is a contradiction of does not, and it should be used only with a singular subject. And don't is a contradiction of do not, and it should be used only with a plural subject. So when I say don't is used with a plural subject, there is an exception to this sentence. Here there is an exception. I said it should be used only with plural subject, but I and you are singular, but we can use don't with I and you. I said don't is used with plural subjects only. I and you are singular, but I can use don't. It is an exception. I and you are singular, but I can use don't. But except I and you, all other subjects, it should be plural. If you're using don't, then it should be with plural subjects except I and you. So don't can be used with plural subjects only. And there is an exception that if you're using it with I and you, it can be used with I and you, even though I and you are singular. I is one person, you also is a single person. So it's singular, but we can use don't with these singular nouns. So look at this example. He is singular. So I said with singular subject, we use doesn't. Doesn't is used with singular subjects. So he doesn't like it. And they is plural, isn't it? And don't is used with plural subjects. So I can use they don't instead of they doesn't. They doesn't is wrong. or he don't is wrong. He, along with he, you have to use doesn't. Since this is plural, you have to use plural verbs. He is singular, so you have to use singular verbs, and they is plural, so you have to use don't along with plural verbs, the plural subjects. Okay, is it clear to you? So if a fill in the blanks is given, they dash like it, and I ask you to fill doesn't or don't. It is a bit confusing sentence because normally we interchange these words and use, but the rule says that if the subject is plural, then we should use don't, should not use doesn't. Okay, is it clear to you? Is it clear to you? When should we use doesn't and when should we use don't? When should we use doesn't? When the subject is? When should we use doesn't? When the subject is? Anyone please? When should we use doesn't? When the subject is singular. Very good. And when will we use don't? When will we use don't? When the subject is plural. But don't can be used with two singular subjects also. Which are those singular subjects? Don't can be used with singular subjects also. Which are those singular subjects? I and you. Yes. I and you. Okay, okay. So if I had given here I, then I can use don't. Again, don't can be used with I and you. I don't like it. You don't like it. Okay, when you're asking a question and all. So that is about the 9th rule. Now I'm going to the 10th rule. Okay, rule 10. So nouns such as scissors, tweezers, trousers, shears, they require plural verbs. Okay, scissors we consider it as one piece, but here it has two parts. Scissors has two identical parts, isn't it? Trousers, the trousers you wear, they have two identical parts. So these, though they are ending with S and seems to be a single unit. Scissors, we consider only one scissors, but since it has two parts, they are considered as plural. They require plural verbs. Since they are considered as plural, they require plural verbs. So these scissors are dull. So in this blank, if I write these scissors is dull, it is wrong. This is singular, so I cannot use is there. So instead of is, I have to use are, since scissors is considered to be plural. Scissors is not singular because even though it is one particular scissors, it has two parts. So we consider such things as plural, and so it requires plural verb. Are is plural, is singular. So if I write these scissors is dull, it is wrong. These scissors are dull. So plural subjects take plural verbs. Now those trousers is made of wool. If I write those scissors, those trousers is made of wool, then it is wrong. But most cases when we speak, we make mistakes. Grammatical mistakes are there, but the correct grammar, if we are speaking correctly, if we follow correct grammar rules, then we have to use these. That is, those trousers are made of wool. Is it clear? Is it clear to you? Did you understand the rule? Did you understand the rule? So scissors and trousers, is it singular or plural? Scissors and trousers, is it singular or plural? Hello? Okay, it's plural, isn't it? Even though scissors, we are speaking of one particular scissors, it has two parts, so it's considered as plural. So with plural verbs, subjects, we need plural nouns, plural verbs. Plural nouns, we need plural verbs. Else plural subjects take plural verbs. S is singular, but R is plural. So now let us note this also. So this was the 10th rule, isn't it? No. Now this, just go through this. The expressions such as with, together with, including, accompanied by, in addition to, or as well, do not change the number of the subject. So when we write these words, they do not change the number of the subject. If the subject is singular, the verb is also singular. So when we see such words with, together with, including, accompanied by, in addition to, or as well, they do not change the number of the subject. For example, look at these two sentences. The president, accompanied by his wife. Now there are two persons, isn't it? We might think that the subject is plural, but it is not. It is singular. So, and so we have to use a singular verb, is. So the president is the subject, and we have come across a word, an exceptional word, accompanied by. So if there is a word like accompanied by after the subject, we have to consider only the first part of the subject. Don't take the second part. So the president accompanied by his wife. This part here, the president is the only subject and it refers to a single person. So the verb is singular. We cannot use are there. The president accompanied by his wife are traveling to India is wrong. We have to use singular verb. Okay. Now, look at the next sentence. All of the books, as I said, if there are sentences with beginning with all of the books and including, like it, there is a word including here, including yours. So you're adding one more person to this. All of the books, including yours, are in the box. Okay. Is it clear? Is it clear to you? We have to consider only the subject. Don't consider yours here. Including whatever is written after these special words should not be considered. Here, all of the books means it is plural. Books, this is the subject part. Exclude this part. Don't consider this part if it since it has including there. So all of the books, when the books is single, plural, so we have to use plural verb are. So just look at the subject. If it is, if you find that these words are following, don't consider those subjects after that. You have to consider only the first part of the subject. Now, another note is here. The words each, one, either, then neither, everyone, everybody, anybody, anyone, nobody, somebody, someone, and no one. They are all singular. So if you find these words, then you have to use singular verbs, and they require singular verbs. So you have just, even though we find that everyone refers to a lot of people, but that word is considered as singular, so it takes singular verb. Everybody, again, it refers to a group of people, but here it is taken as a singular, it is considered singular, so it is taken as a singular verb. Is it clear to you? Is it clear to you? And this follows rule 3. So it's a continuation. It can be considered as coming under rule 3. The last note is under rule 3, or you can write it under rule 3 also, this part. Okay, it comes under rule 3. That is someone, somebody, everybody, no one, anyone, etc. Each one, each, either, neither, all these words, no one, someone, etc., they are all considered singular, and so they require a singular verb. So just study these words, and whenever you see a word, a sentence with these words, use singular verbs. Is it clear? Is it clear to you? Hello, is it clear to you? Okay. So now you write down one question. You have my assignment hour today. 7th hour is my assignment hour, isn't it? As per the timetable. Do you know the timetable? 7th hour is my assignment hour at 3 p.m. Okay. So during that time, you have to write down the following question. The question will be given now. Just write it down. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. Last class, I gave you one question. Do you remember that question? I told you to write 5 verbal analogies, isn't it? Did you write it in your notebook? Okay, very good. Now today you have to upload it. Okay, so those who have written it, I will repeat it once more. During the assignment hour, you have to complete the following work. My first question, write it down. First question is the same question which I gave you last class. That is, write down any 5 verbal analogies. Write down any 5 verbal analogies. My first question. Then second question, write the synonyms. Write the synonyms. With letters A, capital A, letters A to F. Write the synonyms with letters A to F. Okay. Now third question. These are all simple. One question I had given you earlier, so you might have completed that earlier itself. So I'm giving one chance for others who haven't written to write it today. That first question, verbal analogies. Now, so I've said the second question, write down the synonyms starting with letters A to F. Now, third question. Actually, this was the first question. The other question I had given it earlier, and you might have you should have completed that earlier. Then, the third question is, write down the commonly misspelled words. Write down the commonly misspelled words. Write down the commonly misspelled words from letters A to F. From letters A to F. Is the question clear? Is the question clear to you? Hello, is the question clear to you? First question. Write down any 5 verbal analogies. Second question. Write down the synonyms. Starting with letters A to F. Starting with letters A to F. And third question, write down the misspelled words. Starting with letters A to Okay. Is it clear? Is it clear to you? One question, I'm seeing one question. Okay. I had uploaded the notes in Linbase. Hope you had seen it, isn't it? I had uploaded the synonyms in Linbase, the misspelled words in Linbase. Both these two notes are uploaded in Linbase. And you go to Linbase, take those documents, all those words are written there. Look at those words, study all these words, and then write it down in your notebook. Okay, is it clear to you? Is it clear to you? Any doubts regarding writing the assignment at 3 o'clock? Hello. Okay. So the verbal analogies you should find out from somewhere, either search and find out. Right. For first question, you have to write the 5 verbal analogies. Then you have to write the synonyms. Then you have to write the misspelled words. And after writing it, you have to upload it. And tomorrow 8:30 is the time. But anyway, those who complete it today should upload it today itself. I will set the time to 8:30 tomorrow. So at 3 o'clock, you can just start doing your work. Is it clear? Is it clear? And your attendance will be marked based on the assignment you upload. Okay. I will publish it as assignment 2 in Linbase and take that assignment and do your work at 3 o'clock. Is it clear? Any doubt? Okay, you join and meet. I'll take the attendance and then you can go. Okay. If you have any, I'll repeat it once more. You join and meet. I'll take the attendance and then you can go. But that attendance will be finalized only if you submit your assignment. Is it clear? Is it clear? Okay. Join at 3 o'clock. I'll give you some instructions, and after that, I'll take attendance, or I'll take attendance just 5 or 10 minutes is enough, and then you can do your work. Okay. Is it clear? So now you may say your attendance.
1,
2,
Your attendance.
3,
4, 5,
6,
7,
8,
10,
10,
7,
12,
13,
14,
15,
16,
17,
18, 19,
20,
21,
22,
23, 24,
25,
26, 28, 29, 31,
32,
Number 30.
30,
Number 30. Okay. 31.
31,
32,
33,
34,
35,
35.
35.
36.
Okay.
36.
Okay. 37.
37.
Number 37.
37%.
38.
Next. 30.
39.
39. 40.
40.
41.
42.
43.
44.
45. 46.
47.
47.
48.
49.
Okay. 50.
50.
Okay.
51. 51.
Okay. 52.
52.
Okay.
53.
Okay.
54.
54. Okay.
55.
56. 57.
58.
59.
60.
61.
62.
63.
Okay. So all are present today. Okay. Thank you.